You've been walking right past the smartest slot machines every time you hit the casino. Former employees just spilled the beans on 11 specific slots that give small budget gamblers the strongest shot at actually winning. And what these insiders dropped is going to totally flip how you play the slot floor. These aren't the shiny games at the front door, and they're not the ones flashing huge progressive prizes either. And the #1 machine on this countdown, former techs said they'd actually play it themselves if they were betting. And casinos are mad that people are figuring this out. So if you've got $100 and you want it to survive more than an hour, then you've got to know about these 11 slots. Let's jump in with number 11, which is called Liberty Jewels. This slot doesn't really stand out when you walk by it. No big name license, no massive screen showing million-dollar jackpots, but according to former slot techs, that's exactly what makes it good for budget gamblers. Casino workers who've been around these machines for years usually call Liberty Jewels a neighborhood favorite, a game that has stuck around on casino floors long enough for the place to make back what they spent on it, which typically means the slot is programmed a little looser than newer games, so it keeps bringing in regular players. Based on what insiders estimate, Liberty Jewels runs with a return to player somewhere around 93 to 95%, depending on how each property sets the machine up. And that's clearly better than what most current video slots give you these days. Its setup is pretty simple, built on basic pay lines and an easy free spin feature that seems to hit every 120 spins or so, which people like because there are no sneaky features or confusing mini games to deal with. The machine's medium volatility is another thing that makes it popular with budget-minded gamblers, as it hits frequent smaller payouts that help keep your session going while still giving you the occasional 50 to 100 times bet win that adds real fun without putting you through huge swings. Some casino workers have actually seen smart players sit at Liberty Jewels for 3 or 4 hours on a single $100 and leave with cash still left. Something that doesn't really happen on newer, more aggressive machines. People who know this slot well usually say stick to the minimum bet levels, since Liberty Jewels lets you change both your bet size and how many pay lines you play. Setting it at around 40 to 60 cents per spin gets you almost 200 spins for every $100. And with that much play, it gets more and more likely you'll land at least 1 or 2 feature rounds, which is where the machine really gives you value. One regular player supposedly made Liberty Jewels his main slot for over a year, showing up twice a week and playing several hours each time on the lowest bet setup. And his total losses for the whole year came in under $500, a surprisingly small number. Small for someone who plays that often. Stories like this are why so many experienced casino workers think Liberty Jewels is a truly smart pick for people trying to stretch their bankroll. Even the feature round is really straightforward. 10 free spins with a 2 times multiplier. No confusing pick screens or tricky odds, just simple math that usually pays between 40 and 70 times your bet. That steadiness, along with the machine's reliable payout style, is why so many ex-employees recommend starting with Liberty Jewels if you're trying to learn what real value actually looks like on a slot floor. And while Liberty Jewels is a solid first pick on this countdown, the next slot goes even further, paying out more often and using a smart psychological trick that keeps players going way longer than they think. Machine number 10 is Double Chili Mania. This slot is part of a series of Mania games, and according to people in the know, it's quietly one of the top values out there for players who understand what they're looking at. Folks who worked with the slot say that Double Chili Mania typically runs with an RTP between 92 and 94%, which puts it in the better range of modern video machines. But what makes this slot really good for budget players, according to ex-casino workers, is the high hit rate. Info shows this slot pays winning combos on roughly 30 to 35% of spins, which means you're always seeing some kind of win. Now, here's the key detail that insiders pointed out. A lot of those wins will be smaller than your total bet, especially if you're playing multiple pay lines. But former workers say that this high hit rate does something really important mentally. It keeps you interested and stops that discouraging feeling of spinning 20 times straight with nothing. When you're playing on a small budget, that mental part matters just as much as the numbers. The main feature on Double Chili Mania is a free spin round that triggers when you get 3 or more scatter symbols. Data from techs who service the slot shows this feature hits about once every 90 to 100 spins based on how the game's built. The feature gives you 8 to 15 free spins depending on how many scatters you got. And during the free spins, certain symbols can turn into wild symbols to make more winning combos. According to what former slot workers say, the trick to playing Double Chili Mania on a budget is to drop your bet to minimum levels but keep all pay lines active. The slot usually has 30 or 40 pay lines, and while that sounds pricey, you can often bet as little as 30 to 50 cents per spin with all lines going. Keeping all lines active on this particular slot is smart because the high hit rate means you'll catch wins on different pay line combos, and those small frequent wins make your playing time last way longer. Another thing experienced players talk about is how Double Chili Mania looks. The bright colors and happy sounds help make it fun to play even when you're not hitting big wins. Casinos call machines like this strong time-on-device performers, meaning people tend to stick around at them for long sessions because they're having a blast. And when you're having fun while your cash lasts longer, that's exactly what budget players should want. According to insider logic, Double Chili Mania also seems to run even better in regional casinos than in big strip places. Smaller casinos often set their machines a bit looser to compete better, and this game gets more benefit than most from those settings. If you're playing outside major tourist spots, Double Chili Mania becomes an even better choice. The next slot on our list has a secret trick that former techs say you can actually see before you sit down. Machine 9, China Shores. Machine number 9 on our list is China Shores. This Konami slot has built up a loyal group of fans among players who get slot math. And for budget players, here's the real draw. The action-stacked symbols feature can deliver shockingly big wins once you figure out how it actually works. So, ex-casino workers are saying China Shores sits around 96.1% RTP, though that changes depending on which casino you're at and what denomination you're playing. Now, yeah, that's a bit lower than some of the simpler slots out there, but it's the combo of those stacking symbols with the bonus setup that really makes it special. But hold on. Before I explain how it works, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button. And hey, drop a comment. Have you ever hit a big win on a small bet? Alright, so here's how the stacking actually works. Before each spin, the game randomly picks one symbol to stack. What that means is it can show up multiple times on every single reel, which obviously boosts your chances at some big line wins. Now, sources who know how Konami designs these things say that when a high-value symbol gets picked for stacking, you're looking at payouts anywhere from 50 to 100x your bet in just one spin. And that's not even in the bonus round, that's regular gameplay. The free spin bonus starts when you land 3, 4, or 5 of those yin-yang scatter symbols. You'll get 8, 10, or 15 free spins depending on how many you hit. And here's where it gets really cool. During the bonus round, the stacking feature actually gets way better. The game increases the odds that high-value symbols will be chosen for stacking, which obviously means better possible wins. According to insiders, the bonus round triggers with a frequency that works with normal play. It's not one of those super rare bonuses where you're grinding forever just trying to get it. And during those free spins, you're looking at payouts that can go anywhere from 40 to 150x your bet, especially when you get stacked wilds or those premium symbols landing. Now, one tip that experienced players suggest, and this is cool, is to actually watch a machine before you sit down. If you're seeing a lot of high value symbols stacking in the regular game, that might mean you're watching a hot cycle. Does that guarantee a bonus? No. But insiders are saying China Shores seems to show more obvious hot and cold streaks compared to a lot of other games out there. Casinos also tend to feature China Shores pretty heavily in properties where they've got a strong Asian player base. Obviously, because the theme really clicks with them. Here's what ex-employees are saying. The setup often stays good for other players too, so it ends up being solid for both the casino and pretty much everyone playing it. And another big plus here, the bet range. You can usually play this thing for as little as 40 cents to $1 per spin, depending on where you're at. Experts suggest you stick to the lower end of that range, unless you're already building up profits from bonus rounds, because even with those small bets, when those stacked symbol wins land, they can be really nice. But wait until you hear about machine number 8. Former workers call it criminally underrated, and it has a bonus wheel that's set up to never let you walk away empty-handed. Machine 8, Carnival of Mystery. Here's a game that former casino workers say doesn't get nearly enough attention. Carnival of Mystery has been around for years, and honestly, that's actually a plus. This slot has had time to prove itself as a solid, steady performer that isn't going to eat your bankroll in minutes. According to former slot managers, Carnival of Mystery typically runs at 92 to 94% RTP, which is pretty decent for this kind of game. But here's what really makes it stand out for budget players. The bonus setup gives you multiple ways to win without needing to bet big. The main thing is the wheel bonus. When you land 3 or more bonus symbols, you get to spin a wheel that can give you cash prizes, free spins, or multipliers. Based on technical docs, this bonus triggers roughly once every 80 to 100 spins. And here's the best part. Former techs say the wheel is programmed to always give you something. You never leave empty-handed. For someone playing on a budget, that mental lift of always getting something from your bonus makes a real difference. What former workers really like about this slot is that it doesn't put everything in one place. Beyond the wheel bonus, there's also a mystery symbol feature where certain symbols randomly change into matching ones to create winning combos. Insiders say this happens pretty often, maybe every 30 or 40 spins. It doesn't always mean a huge payout, but it keeps things fun between bonus rounds. Former slot workers have talked about watching regular players sit at Carnival of Mystery for hours without burning through their money. There's one case of a player who'd come in every Friday night with exactly $50 and play at minimum bet, usually around 50 cents per spin. Casino records from several months showed his $50, typically, lasted him 2 to 3 hours of play. And get this, about 1 out of every 4 times he'd actually leave with a small profit. Former workers say that kind of steadiness is pretty rare for slots, and it shows you the math is working in favor of budget-minded players. The game itself has what former workers call a classic casino feel without looking old. It's got a fun carnival theme with bright colors and happy sounds. And since it's not based on any licensed property, the maker isn't paying ongoing royalties. According to ex-managers, that can mean slightly better RTPs for non-licensed games because more of the money can go back to players instead of license holders. Here's an interesting tip from former techs. They notice that the mystery symbols seem to pop up more often right after you've triggered the wheel bonus. Now, they're quick to say this could just be people noticing patterns, but multiple former workers mentioned seeing this over the years. If there's something to it, it might mean hanging around for a bit after a bonus round could help. One last thing former workers pointed out, Carnival of Mystery is often tucked away in quieter sections of the casino rather than being front and center. According to insider thinking, that's actually good. Machines in low-traffic spots are sometimes set a bit looser to pull people over. So if you spot Carnival of Mystery in a corner or along a side path, that spot might mean the casino is using better settings to get people interested. Coming up next is a machine with a feature that triggers every 70 to 90 spins, almost twice as often as other games. Coming in at number 7, we've got Mighty Cash. Now, this is where things get good. We're talking about games that people who've actually worked in casinos say give you real bang for your buck when you're playing on a budget. Mighty Cash is an aristocrat favorite, and here's what the people who've worked with these slots will tell you. It's one of the few modern hold and spin games that doesn't just drain you while you're sitting there waiting for the bonus to trigger. So let's talk numbers for a second. Insiders say this game typically runs somewhere between 90 and 92% RTP. That's return to player. And yeah, that varies depending on what denomination you're playing and how the casino has it configured. Pretty normal stuff for aristocrats' bonus-focused slots. But here's the thing that makes Mighty Cash different. People who really understand how this game works say the hold and spin feature actually pops up more often than it does on a lot of the other options. The way the bonus works is pretty simple. You need 6 or more of those coin symbols to land on the reels. Once that happens, you get 3 respins to start with. Every time a new coin lands, boom, your counter resets back to 3. Those coins stay locked, and each one shows either a credit value or one of the smaller jackpots like the mini or minor. Now, the coin values aren't usually massive. Like we're talking maybe 1 to 5 times your bet most of the time, but they build up nicely. And that makes the feature feel good even when you're betting the minimum. Players who spent time with these slots say Mighty Cash isn't about going after some huge win. It's about the fact that the feature doesn't feel out of reach. Even when you just barely get by with 6 coins, you'll usually grab a few more before those respins run out. And that reliability, that's what lets you make a smaller bankroll go way further than those high volatility games where you're burning through hundreds of spins just waiting for one chance at a bonus. There's another reason Mighty Cash has such a good reputation. It's straightforward no matter which version you're playing. Tiger, Panda, Phoenix, the popular double-up version doesn't really matter. The core setup is basically the same across all of them. Former workers will tell you not to worry about the theme, the math underneath. It's all pretty much identical. Now, if you're working with a small budget, here's what experienced players suggest. Stay close to minimum bet. Betting more doesn't give you better chances of triggering the feature. It just makes your wins bigger when you do land it. With a low bet and those regular feature triggers, a lot of players say they can make $50 or $100 last way longer on Mighty Cash than on those newer trendy slots. You'll find Mighty Cash pretty much everywhere in Australian-style gaming spots. Aristocrat dominates those floors, and the workers there will tell you it's still one of the most solid picks if you want a long, relaxed session without watching your credits disappear. All right. Up next at number 6 is a machine that former workers call old school solid, but there's a sneaky little thing buried in the pay table that most players totally miss. Machine 6, Quick Hit Explosion. Machine number 6 is Quick Hit Explosion, and this slot represents what former casino workers call old school dependability in modern packaging. Quick Hit is a long-running series from Light & Wonder, and the Explosion version keeps the good qualities that made the original Quick Hit games popular while adding some new features. Former slot managers revealed that Quick Hit Explosion typically runs with an RTP between 92 and 94%, which puts it in the good range for players. But what former workers specifically praise about this slot is the simple gameplay and clear pay table that doesn't hide bad math behind complicated bonus features. The main thing about Quick Hit Explosion is easy. You're trying to land quick hit symbols, and the more you land on a single spin, the bigger your win. 3 quick hit symbols might pay 10 times your bet. 5 might pay 50 times. 9 or more can pay several hundred times your bet. Former techs explained that this simple setup means the game has a high hit rate for smaller wins, which keeps your bankroll going while still offering the chance for bigger wins when you get lucky. What makes Quick Hit Explosion really good for budget players is that you don't need to trigger a separate bonus round to win good money. The quick hit symbol pays in the regular game, and these symbols show up often enough that you're regularly seeing some kind of quick hit combo, even if it's just 2 or 3 symbols for a small win. This steady action is exactly what budget players need to make their cash last. According to former worker statements, the slot includes a free spin bonus that triggers with scatter symbols, and techs who managed it said the feature hits roughly once every 150 spins. The free spins can give you more quick hit symbols and higher multipliers, but former workers stress that you don't need the bonus to have a good time. The regular game is strong enough by itself. The bonus just adds extra value when it happens to trigger. Former slot workers have noted that Quick Hit Explosion attracts a lot of older players who remember the original quick hit machines from years back. According to insider analysis, this is actually a good thing because it means the game has proven staying power and the casino keeps it with decent settings to keep that loyal player base coming back. Machines that have been around for years and still have regular players are usually set more fairly than brand new games that rely on being new to attract play. One specific tip that former workers recommend for Quick Hit Explosion involves the bet choice. The slot allows you to play at different denominations and bet levels. You should play at the lowest denomination that still feels fun to you, whether that's penny, nickel, or quarter. The quick hit symbol trigger rate is consistent across denominations based on the programming, so there's no math advantage to playing higher denominations. You're simply going through your budget faster without improving your chances. Former workers also mentioned that Quick Hit Explosion has a very clear pay table shown right on the screen. According to their statements, you should actually take a minute to look at this pay table before you start playing, because it shows you exactly how much each quick hit combo pays. This openness is nice compared to modern slots that hide their math in complicated bonus games, and it lets you make smart choices about your bet size and how long your budget will last. Reports from ex-workers show that quick hit games in general, including the Explosion version, tend to have lower volatility than many modern video slots. This lower volatility means more steady payouts over shorter sessions, which is perfect for budget players. You're less likely to have crazy swings where you either double your money or lose everything fast. Instead, you get more stable gameplay where your bankroll slowly goes up and down, giving you more fun time for your money. According to former worker analysis, machine number 5 looks basic and old school, which is exactly why most players skip it. Machine 5, Triple Double Stars. Former slot techs reveal that Triple Double Stars is basically a 3-reel mechanical style slot with updated graphics and some modern features. The RTP on this slot typically sits between 94 and 96% according to programming info, which is excellent by casino floor standards. Former workers explain that this high RTP is possible because the game doesn't have expensive licensed content, doesn't have complicated multi-level bonus games, and doesn't have progressive jackpots taking money from the base game. The gameplay on triple-double stars is simple according to technical docs. You're trying to line up matching symbols on the pay lines with the top symbol being stars. 3 stars pays a fixed jackpot amount, typically in the range of 1,000 dirham to 2,000 credits, depending on your bet. It's worth knowing that in some versions of triple-double stars, the biggest payout actually comes from combos involving the double and triple multiplier symbols rather than the standard 3-star lineup. Most versions still feature a large fixed jackpot, but the top prize isn't always tied to the stars themselves. Former workers note that while this jackpot isn't huge compared to progressive slots, it's actually more reachable, and the fixed nature means more money stays in the base game for regular payouts. What former slot workers specifically like about triple-double stars is the hit rate. According to insider observations, this slot pays something on approximately 40 to 45% of spins, which is really high. Yes, many of those payouts will be small, maybe just winning back your bet or slightly less, but former workers explain that this constant action creates a playing experience where you feel engaged and your balance doesn't drop immediately. The slot also features a doubling feature where certain winning combos get doubled or tripled based on special symbols. According to former techs, this doubling feature works fairly often and can turn a modest 10-credit win into a better 20 or 30-credit win. While these numbers might sound small, former workers stress that when you're playing minimum bet on a budget, these doubled wins are what keep you in good territory and extend your playing time a lot. Former casino management revealed that triple-double stars is typically placed away from main casino traffic because it doesn't have the visual draw to attract casual walk-up players. According to insider logic, this helps knowledgeable players because the slot stays on the floor with good settings due to its loyal player base, and you can usually find an open machine without waiting. Former workers noted they'd see the same regulars playing triple-double stars day after day, and those regulars knew they were getting better mathematical value than they would on flashier modern games. One betting tip that former workers shared specifically for triple-double stars involves playing single pay line at minimum bet. The slot typically allows you to play 1, 2, or 3 pay lines. According to insider math, playing single pay line gives you the most spins for your budget, and on a slot with 95% RTP and high hit rate, maximizing your number of spins is the best strategy for making your money last and possibly catching some lucky winning runs. Former techs also mentioned that triple-double stars rarely breaks down compared to complicated modern video slots. According to their maintenance records, the simpler mechanics and proven game engine mean less downtime and more steady performance. While this might seem like a small point, former workers explain that steady performance actually matters for players because you're not sitting at a slot that might suddenly freeze and kill your momentum when you're on a hot streak. Reports from former workers suggest that 3 real-style games like triple-double stars are getting increasingly rare on casino floors as properties move toward more modern video slots. According to insider analysis, this trend is bad for budget players because these older-style games generally offer better math and more clear odds. If you find a triple-double stars machine, former workers strongly suggest giving it a try because it represents a dying breed of player-friendly slots that casinos are slowly replacing with more profitable modern games. Now we're getting into the top 4, and machine number 4 has something former workers call balanced volatility that sits in a perfect sweet spot. But there's one part of this game you should totally ignore. Machine number 4 is Mr. Cashman, Jewel of the Enchantress. The Mr. Cashman series has been a casino favorite for decades, and this version keeps what made it popular: balanced gameplay, features that trigger regularly, and simple mechanics that don't need huge bets to stay fun. According to folks who've worked with these slots, the RTP typically lands somewhere in the low to mid-90s, though that depends on how the casino has it set up. But the real draw here isn't just the return percentage, it's the variety of features that can show up during your time. Jewel of the Enchantress comes with scatter-triggered free spins, a handful of progressive jackpots, and the classic Mr. Cashman random feature that can pop up on any spin and drop instant cash. That random feature is actually a big reason budget players like this slot, It doesn't care whether you just won or lost. It can show up either way, which helps smooth out those dry runs and keeps your balance from dropping too fast. Former techs say it comes around pretty often during regular play, and the cash it gives usually falls into a range that genuinely helps your bankroll last. Then there's the free spins bonus. You trigger it by landing 3 or more scatters, and it gives you a set of spins with extra multipliers, plus the chance for Mr. Cashman to show up during the bonus itself. Former workers have watched these bonuses pay out everything from decent mid-range wins to surprisingly big hits, depending on how the multipliers and features line up. One thing insiders are clear about: don't play this slot hoping to hit the progressives. Sure, they're nice if they land, but even the smallest tier isn't easy to get, and the real value is in the regular gameplay and how often the features trigger. Think of the jackpots as a nice surprise, not the main goal. Casino floor workers also mentioned something cool. Mr. Cashman games tend to build loyal fans. Players who enjoy one Cashman title often come back to play the others, and that loyalty actually helps you out. Casinos know this, so they're more likely to keep these slots set up fairly rather than risk annoying a player base that shows up for them regularly. Former workers say that kind of steadiness is usually a sign you're dealing with balanced math, not one of those super tight machines designed to drain you fast. There's also a small thing that players notice: the sound design. The cheerful music, fun animations, and that upbeat Cashman voice keep the mood light even when you're not hitting much. Techs say that's on purpose. The game is built for longer sessions, and the pleasant sounds help keep you relaxed and in your seat. The betting range works well for budget play too. Most casinos let you spin for 50 cents to $1, and at the lower end, a $100 session can easily give you 200 spins or more. Plenty of time to see multiple features if the machine's running normally. Former workers say you can usually get a feel for whether the slot's hot within your first 50 spins. If you're catching regular small wins or an early Cashman trigger, that particular machine might be worth sticking with. Now, we're getting into the top 3, and the next slot takes everything players love about classic bonus features and turns it up into something way more powerful than most people realize. Machine number 3 is Blazing Sevens. This game is one of the most overlooked machines out there for players who want to make their money last without giving up on real winning potential. Blazing Sevens has been around in different versions for decades, and even the newer versions still have a lot of those player-friendly qualities that made the original such a favorite. People who've worked on these slots say Blazing Sevens usually runs with an RTP somewhere between 93 and 96%, depending on what denomination you're playing and which casino you're in. That's really good by today's standards, and part of the reason is because the game keeps things basic. There's no expensive license theme, no complicated bonus rounds, and no progressive jackpot pulling money away from the regular wins. The gameplay itself is pretty simple. You line up sevens and you get paid. Different color combos give you different wins, and bars cover the smaller payouts. That simplicity is actually a big part of why experienced players like it so much. Every spin has obvious potential, and you always know exactly what you're aiming for. What really makes Blazing Sevens stand out for players on a budget is how it mixes that strong RTP with pretty regular hit rates. The exact numbers change, but workers estimate the slot pays out something on roughly 1 out of every 3 or 4 spins. That's way more friendly than most modern video slots, which can easily go dozens of spins without giving you anything. A lot of workers remembered seeing players hang out at Blazing Sevens for entire afternoons on pretty small bankrolls, simply because the game doesn't eat through your cash quickly. Some of the newer Blazing Sevens versions do include little extras like multipliers or mini features that might pay 10 to 50 times your bet, but honestly, the classic versions don't even need a bonus round. The regular game math is strong enough by itself. Former managers also mentioned that Blazing Sevens machines are getting harder to find these days, especially on the Las Vegas Strip, since casinos keep swapping them out with flashier but tighter video slots. So if you do see one, it's usually worth taking a seat, because these older, real machines represent an era when game design actually leaned more toward the player instead of just maxing out casino profits. One tip that techs often share is to look for the quarter denomination Blazing Sevens and play maximum coins. Those versions often run on the higher end of the RTP settings, sometimes up around 95%, which makes them some of the best value you'll find on any casino floor. You'll notice that veteran players tend to go toward Blazing Sevens, and former workers say that tells you something right there. When you see older, experienced players consistently picking a particular slot, it's usually a pretty good sign the math is working in your favor. We're down to the final two machines, and number 2 has a bonus setup that former techs call genius because it gives you multiple chances to build wins without needing perfect luck. Machine number 2 is Winning Animals. This is a game that really works for budget players even if it doesn't look like much at first. You won't find flashy animations or a big brand name on it, but the math underneath, that's where this slot shines. From what people who've spent time with it say, it typically runs somewhere in the 93 to 95% RTP range. But here's what really counts, the bonus setup. Instead of putting everything on one lucky trigger, Winning Animals lets you stack up free spins in layers. When you hit 3 scatter symbols, you'll usually get 8 to 12 free spins. The key thing is that during the feature, you can easily re-trigger more spins. A lot of times end up turning into 20 to 30 total spins, which gives you tons of chances to pile up wins. What makes this even better is how simple the bonus is. You're not chasing rare multipliers or dealing with confusing mechanics. The regular symbols pay steadily well during free spins, and most of the value comes from just how long the feature goes. So, players who've made this their go-to machine have reported bonus rounds paying anywhere from 60 to 200x their bet. And that's great for a slot that triggers roughly once every 110 spins. The regular game holds up well too. It hits often enough, about 30% of spins from what people have seen, to keep your balance moving instead of just dropping. Those small wins keep your bankroll going while the medium hits give you some upward push. That's exactly the kind of mix low-budget players need. Here's a nice advantage. Winning Animals often gets passed over by casual players because it isn't flashy. That actually helps you out. Since it doesn't pull huge crowds, casinos tend to keep it on fair settings, and you can usually find an open seat even on busy nights. A lot of experienced players use this betting strategy. Start at minimum bet and only raise it after your first good bonus. If that first free spin round pays well, you've earned some extra room to try a slightly higher bet. If it doesn't pay much, just stay at the lowest level and protect your bankroll. This flexible strategy fits perfectly with Winning Animals because the bonus triggers steadily enough that you'll normally see it multiple times in a session. Konami made several themed versions too, farm animals, jungle animals, ocean animals, but they all use the same math underneath. The only difference is how they look, so just pick whichever theme you like most. What really stands out is how long you can play on this slot. Budget players have frequently managed 4 to 6 hour sessions on a $100 bankroll. That's only possible when you have a mix of good RTP, steady hit rate, and a bonus that re-triggers a lot. That's exactly why Winning Animals has such strong word of mouth among people who actually understand how slot math works. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Machine number 1. This is the slot that every former tech independently named as their personal pick. Machine number 1 is Golden Goddess. Look, IGT's classic slot has quietly become one of the most player-friendly games you'll find on any modern casino floor, especially if you're trying to stretch a small bankroll. The people who've actually worked with this slot day in and day out, they say the RTP usually sits somewhere between 94 and 96%. That puts it right at the top level of video slots you can actually walk up to and play. But here's the thing, it's not just about the numbers. What really sets Golden Goddess apart is how it's designed. Casino staff who've watched this slot's performance over time will tell you it's one of the few modern slots that's actually made for long, steady sessions rather than just trying to empty your wallet as fast as possible. The whole game centers around this super stack feature. Before every single spin, one symbol gets picked to show up stacked across the reels. People who work on these slots say this one feature creates most of the excitement in the game. When a high-paying symbol gets picked, or better yet, wilds, your screen can just fill up with matching stacks. We're talking line wins worth 50 to 150x your bet, and that's without even getting the bonus. Now, about that bonus feature, it triggers when scatter symbols land in a 3x3 block. It looks like 9 visible scatters, but technically it only counts as 3. Here's where it gets cool though. Because the super stacks can actually pick the scatter symbol itself, you end up getting the full bonus more often than you'd think. People who understand the slot's math say the free spins round shows up about once every 90 to 120 spins, which is honestly great for a feature that pays this well. When you do land that bonus, you get 9 free spins and the super stack feature just keeps doing its thing. The game doesn't specifically increase wild frequency during the bonus or anything like that, but the stacked feature is powerful enough on its own. Casino workers have seen players hit bonus rounds that pay anywhere from 80 to over 300x. The really big ones happen when those stacked wilds line up across multiple reels. What the insiders really stress is Golden Goddess's balanced volatility. You get frequent enough small wins to keep your bankroll alive, solid medium hits that build some momentum, and then those occasional big wins that actually feel rewarding. That middle ground, it's super rare in modern slots, which usually go way too volatile. There's also something to be said for reliability. Maintenance teams have noted that this slot breaks down way less often than the newer, more complicated video slots. Smooth, steady gameplay might sound like a small thing, but when you're on a winning streak, the last thing you need is a slot reset stopping your momentum. Some of the best proof comes from long-term regulars that casino staff have tracked. There's one case that stands out: a retired woman who played the slot twice a week on a fixed $100 budget. After an entire year, her net loss was under $400. Think about that. She basically bought a full year of fun for about $30 a month. Insiders say this kind of reliability just doesn't happen on most modern slots. Casino managers have also pointed out that Golden Goddess has one of the highest time-on-device scores of any IGT game out there. Players stay longer, they come back more often, and they report higher satisfaction. At first, casinos loved the extended playtime. Eventually, though, they realized the slot was actually creating loyal fans who kept coming back. The betting options work great for low budgets, too. Most versions let you play anywhere from 50 cents to $1 per spin, and staff consistently suggest starting at the lowest level. With a $100 bankroll at 50 cents per spin, you're looking at roughly 200 spins. That's enough to hit the bonus at least once and catch multiple good super stacks along the way. Some experienced players even have this thing where they watch for stacked wild symbols early in a session. When the super stacks randomly picks wilds once or twice within your first few spins, a lot of regulars take it as a sign the slot's in a strong cycle. Of course, they still know that overall randomness always applies across techs, workers, and managers. The consensus is pretty much the same. Golden Goddess is the single best low-budget slot they'd recommend to a friend. Fair math, steady gameplay, memorable wins, and long play sessions. It's the clear #1 pick. So, that wraps it up. 11 machines that former casino workers consistently point to as the best choices when you're gambling on a tight budget. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe for more insider casino info that most players never get to hear.